Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you as always for tuning back in. I'm Layla, the Lenormand reader, and if you're new here, welcome. I'm very happy to have you on board. Be sure to download your starter guide and also check out your annual Astro Clock if you haven't before. There's also an Astro Clock journal this year, so be sure to download that too. So welcome to 2026. What we are doing today is a pick a card focused on the coming year. So it's an exciting time. I think a lot of people are feeling anticipating about the new year. There's a lot going on all over the world, and I think there's a lot of pressure and tension in many parts. And I think the key for us is really to focus on our zone and what we can do to embetter ourselves, and as a result, embetter the lives of people and things and places around us. So I want us to use this reading to focus on what's coming up in the new year. And I'll be doing a 3D portrait. So that's a lot of cards. That's a 3x9. So 3 portraits on top of each other. So there's plenty here, 27 cards. And so we're going to get a whole lot of messages. The key for us is to take away different levels of focus and also to take away actionable insights. It's always my philosophy to find actionable insights, because as I like to say, if you can't do anything about it, then what's the point of having a reading? Are you on board? So let's tune into what the new year brings. I'm going to do 3 separate readings. So 3 3D portraits, and each of them are going to have the same set of cards. Are you ready? Pause the video, tune into the coming year, envision what you want to see happen, and let's keep it pretty open and see what the cards direct us towards. So I will see you in your reading. The timestamps are below. Okay, welcome to reading 1. Again, I want you to tune in to this year and what you envision for it. Again, pause the video, do a short meditation if you need to. Let's draw your first layer of portrait, and let's see what this year brings for you. Okay, here is the first layer of portrait. And right from the overview of these cards, I think the focus, or this first focus here, is going to be on people and relationships. It looks like there are changes and separations and new directions. The reason I say it's focused on relationships is because we have several cards that bring this up. We have the dog in the key first position, and this is a card of friends. So when it comes as your cover card, which represents you and your approach and your situation relative to this, it encourages you to be friendly and open to relationships and to be of support. So that's all good and well, but also the other cards are going to bring up changes and new directions. In the middle, in the center, we have the ship. This is a lovely card. It's a great card for directions and progress and making progress in a certain direction and pursuing your goals and ambitions. The other cards have relationship cards as well. We have the heart and the ring in addition to the dog, and we have very key change cards. We have the scythe and the child. So let's get into this. The dog with the ship and child is a wonderful triplet for a new direction and a new beginning. Now, because we've got the dog as your cover card, this could be about new friends and new people in your life. It can also be a lovely combination for work, your projects, your activity, or whatever it is that engages you, and you could be moving into a new direction. Now, the other diagonal is also very lovely. We've got the heart and ring on either side of the ship. This is beautiful for a relationship, a deeper relationship, a love relationship, and really going after it or moving forward with it. And outside of relationships, it's a lovely card for your commitments and your passions, I would say. So clearly, from the get-go, we're seeing this element of movement in a new direction and the idea of being engaged and connected. So it's going to be important to prioritize your goals and also to prioritize your relationships. Now, the dog, moon, and ring, this is beautiful. This is beautiful for a relationship. You could get an invitation or getting closer. It's a lovely card for attraction. And so relationships are warming up here, and there could be a special someone with whom you are deepening your connection. This is very beautiful. It's also a really nice line for work because the moon can also be a card of work in addition to being a card of offers and invitations. And with the dog and ring, you could get a new job, a new project, a collaboration. You could be in a team. It's exciting, really, especially with the ship in the middle. Now, the scythe and mouse on either side of the ship, this is a more challenging line. The scythe is often a card of challenges, like in a broad sense. It is sometimes a card of risk, but it can be neutral a lot of the time because it's a card of speed and suddenness, and it has to do with severance, which is not necessarily challenging. But the mouse has a more negative reading in a usual way, and so it brings issues and challenges. And with the scythe and ship and mouse on either side of the ship, it's very clear that you need to let go and change directions. And this works really well with this idea of a new beginning. And the child is in also a key position. It's like the gathering spot for all of the lines. And so there's a change here. It could be that the direction that you're on right now needs to be revisited. You could be distracted and maybe focusing on things that are not your priority, and that could maybe be wasting your time and your resources. So this is going to be a year to really take control of this and to focus on what makes you happy. So it's like I said earlier, there's a lot going on. It's very easy to be distracted right now. There's a lot of noise and a lot of pressure in different ways around the globe. And, if you want to be productive and, to live out this life, you need to maybe narrow down on the priorities. It doesn't mean you forget or you don't have compassion for other things around you, but the way you invest your energy becomes more intelligent. So with the scythe and mouse on either side of the ship, it's important to assess your directions carefully and to sever and change whatever is not supportive of your overall goals, what is distracting you, and what is really not going anywhere. A great line also to declutter, we can say that. Now, the heart, tower, and child. This is very beautiful. This is a wonderful new direction opening up, and one that is aligned with your goals. So the heart is about the things that you love, where your heart is. And the tower is about the long term. With the child, there's a new chapter. So this is exciting, and this very much confirms what we read earlier. Now, the tower is sometimes a card of formalities, legal, admin, corporations, businesses, and things like that. So it could align with a new job, a new career, or a new direction in this regard. But it does affect your life in a broader sense. And it's very important for you to align with what you love, because this could be a turning point year. It is also year one, by the way. Just a note, I am working on numerology, and I'm going to share my work on numerology very soon. It is year 1, 2026, and so it could be a new beginning for a lot of us. So very encouraging for making a fresh start. Now, here's a more challenging line because we have the scythe and the heart. When the scythe and heart show up together, it's very clearly about a heartbreak, and we see it with the dog. So there can be some relationships that fall through, and maybe as a result of this, you move into a new one or another one. And it can be other sorts of break-offs and separations and changes, like at work or in certain activities that you do, certain people outside of your work life. There's lots of possibilities here, but it's a bit of a tougher line. A T crosses the middle row, and we've got the mouse here. So again, you need to make changes, and possibly other things fall through that, rock the boat a little bit. Now, the moon with the ship and tower, this is an empowering line. It has a broader feel. It's about your longer term direction. You want to keep your vision on the big picture, and I also want to suggest that you push that as far out as possible. So I would go as far as to say, what does your retirement look like? What does your, what does it look like for you 5, 10, 15 years from now? Every time we have an opportunity, we need to take stock of our lives, because we need to be aligned with the moment and make sure that our moments are lining up with these bigger goals. So again, getting the distraction out so that we can really live this moment and also live it in alignment with our bigger goals. So keep this in focus. In terms of work and activities, these are exciting cards. You could be pursuing projects that are going to unfold probably over the year and possibly beyond. Now, the ring with the mouse and child, this can be a little bit challenging with relationships, and it is not as sharp as the scythe, but it does tie into these lines, so it is a continuation. There are some relationships that are not so great, and some other connections or involvements, or, wherever you invest your heart and energy, you could be struggling in some of these areas. So the child here is very key in telling us that you need to make changes and be ready to bring in or allow in something new and different. Okay, lovely set of cards. Let's move on to the next deck. This is the Tarot Lenormand, and we're going to overlay another round of 9 cards here and see what else we get for you this year. This one's a bit hard. The cards kind of stick a little bit. So another beautiful set of cards, this beautiful clover. The anchor is your cover card. This is great for strength and being solid. And we have the man. So this is another relationship element, and the dog as well. So the dog twice, the scythe twice. And yeah, we'll look at the multiples at the end as well. So the anchor, clover, and man, this is a lovely relationship. You could get really lucky with someone who comes into the picture. It could be mirroring the second diagonal of the first layer, but there's definitely a really good relationship. Contrast with the second diagonal here, we've got the snake and scythe on either side of the clover. Now, honestly, if it weren't for the clover, this could have been a pretty tough combination, and it is. It points to a bite, and clearly there's maybe something hurtful or someone who tries to play against you, and of course there is a separation or a change as a result of this. Now, having the clover in the middle is going to protect you from someone's intentions, or there could be difficult changes and you could turn them around to your advantage. But I have to say that the snake and scythe can be quite toxic. It's like the bite and, the venom of the snake. So something could come through that is challenging, but you're able to turn it around. And we saw something similar in the first column, or the left column of the first layer, where we have the heart and scythe. So the snake and scythe is not too far from that. There can be someone hurtful or a difficult episode, and also the need to let go. So maybe it's on you. Maybe you need to be really sharp and draw a sharp line. But again, the clover in the center is great. It's a turnaround and luck coming through. So trust that you know what to do and go with the flow and, move on. It's time to really create that space. The anchor with the dog and scythe, this can take on a couple of different possibilities. In this case, the scythe might not necessarily mean a separation, especially since we have the anchor earlier, which is a very solid card, along with the dog. So it's likely that there are changes in these areas in your life. But there are also people who are supportive. So it's not just, relationships falling apart. No, it doesn't work out this way. But there are changes that you need to make. There are separations and adjustments, and this could be happening here as it ties into this and also into the other lines in the first portrait. I also want to encourage you to have confidence in your decisions and in yourself. The anchor is really solid, and as your cover card, there's only so much that you want to compromise. It's a great card for standing strong, for not budging, for believing in yourself, for having confidence in yourself, and having boundaries and not compromising so much. So when we see it with the dog and scythe, if you need to make changes in relationships, whatever they are, personal, at work, other contexts, then you need to do them. It is a good time, a good year to shake things up and adjust. Now, the Lily, Clover, and Rider, great cards, great triplet here. The Rider is great for progress. It's great for going after your goals. And the Lily tends to be about your work, your career, but also your life in general. So the bigger direction of your life. The Clover and Rider suggest that you're going to be on the right track. So this is a big deal. The Lily affects your life in a bigger way. And these changes are going to be significant for your direction. Okay, so this could be a turning point year where you are changing things around. It's like shifting stuff around and finding yourself to land in this powerful direction that is your life and career, and the one that is actually authentic to you and invested in the things that you're passionate about. More generally, there's good news. It's active. You're able to check things off your list and move forward, and you're going to be in a strong enthusiastic, and you have momentum to get things done. And so as a result, it can be quite active. Now, the Snake with the Tree and the Man, this is an interesting triplet. Usually the snake in relationships, it's a bit difficult. It tends to point to someone who's deceptive. But because of the tree in between, the element of wisdom, the idea of caution, and just being at ease and allowing things to unfold is highlighted here. And also the snake, in this sense, because of the wisdom energy of the tree, it can encourage you to be calmer, to be a bit secretive about certain things about yourself, and to, as you connect with this person, you don't have to reveal everything about yourself, and you allow this relationship to unfold. So if you want to get the beautiful Clover Man combination, it's a good idea to avoid being pushy at all with this person, to take it easy, to step back, and to let this person come through. Now, the Anchor with the Lily and Snake. Now, I know the snake is typically challenging, but I'm really not seeing it this way in here. The snake is very good at keeping its eyes on the prize. So really being focused, almost laser focused. And with the Anchor and Lily, we're seeing again this idea of really focusing on your priorities. So removing the distractions and being quite sharp, even merciless with what is not part of this important picture of yours. Then here we have this snake that is really focused on what is important. Even this idea of selfishness that is associated with the snake and fox can come to your advantage. And you can't waste time on others or distractions or what isn't important at this point. So keep that in mind. Now, the Dog with the Clover and Tree, this is beautiful. The Clover and Tree is very much about blooming. It's also great for health and greens and nature and greenery. So they're lovely cards for that sense of positive feeling. And we see it with the dog here. The dog is about people, friends. So you can make some really good connections, and you could go into some really helpful people here. Now, it does tie into the bottom row. So it's quite interesting how the three lines connect here. I think the top is about letting go of, less than ideal situations and people to make room for something more significant for you, a relationship that's more significant to you. And we see this materializing here into the bottom row. So you are going to meet right people. You're going to meet supportive people, the people you need, the people who can help or that you can, feel genuine about. And the snake reminds you to allow them to unfold naturally. So this is going to happen over the year, but what could happen soon, earlier, are these changes, so that makes sense because you have to declutter to make room for the new. Usually you can sever things reasonably quickly, but then to attract the new takes a bit of time for things to come through and to fall into place. Now, the Scythe with the Rider and Man, this is an exciting triplet. The Scythe and Rider is sudden and quick, and it is also a card of help and support. It is a card of the messenger, of news, and also progress and going after goals. So you could have an opportunity or a breakthrough that comes through with this person or somehow they're in the picture, and it proves, it boils into this beautiful clover here that brings luck and success across the board. So again, there's a focus on people, on relationships. We're seeing the dog. We saw it in the first layer. We saw the ring. Here we're seeing the man. And we saw the heart in layer 1. And the rider is also great with people. So there's definitely a focus on people in your life this year and what they do for you, what you do for them, what this picture looks like. You could be revisiting these relationships. And also, we have relationships in every area of our life. So it's not necessarily limited to personal or colleagues. It could be different people in different areas of your life. But it sounds like these adjustments are going to help you focus on your priorities. And they say how they say that the people you hang out with reflect you. So if you're up for some deeper examination, you might want to take advantage of this flow this year in order to realign with a more empowering situation, or a situation that supports your authentic goals, which is really our goal every year, is to pursue the things we love and go after the things we want to do. So great messages here, lots of opportunity, breakthroughs with the clover and scythe. The clover in the middle really affects all of these cards positively. It's going to be important to be razor focused on your goals and get these people into the picture to support you. But also, if this is more romantic, on the more romantic side for some of you, these cards are also really lovely. Let's move on to deck number 3. This is the blink of an eye. Let's see what other messages we get. Okay, exciting cards. So the fish in the middle, the fish is the card of money and finances and business. So you could be focused on this area, or at least on this layer. It is. It's a great card for prosperity and for a sense of empowerment also. It's great for independence, not just financial independence, but empowerment. And the bear is really good with empowerment. Now, we have the cloud as your cover card, and the cloud is a little bit challenging. It can bring some tension. With the fish, it tends to point to expenses and expenditures, and with the bear, the fish and bear points to wealth. So you could be going after financial goals, and I'm pretty sure you're going to achieve them. I mean, the fact that we have the bear on the other side of the fish in this key diagonal, you could really resolve not very big problems, well, maybe with the whip, some challenges in this area, and make some major progress. It sounds like it's going to take a bit of work. We're going to get into the details, but you could make some serious strides towards your financial independence and success this year. And this comes through here. The fish and bear is often the card combination of wealth. With more bright cards, like bigger cards like the sun, it might even point to the millionaire status, and things like that. But of course, these numbers, they're relative. But these are great cards for overcoming challenges, finances, and really becoming empowered in this area. And also, because the clouds is a card of the mind, this could call for inner adjustments. Like sometimes wealth, it requires a certain mindset, and you want to focus on your mindset, remove any barriers in order to receive your prosperity. It's also possible that you could get into business for yourself. You could be taking big steps in this regard, or growing your business, or becoming more empowered at work, or with your money and assets in general. So really, really nice cards. And here's the child again with the tower on either side of the fish. This is great for long-term investments. If you didn't start, you have to have a plan this year, and you have to really align with the bigger goals. So I would say beyond the year. Even though the tower is usually a year, it is also the long-term picture, even lifetime. And it's very similar to what I suggested earlier with layer 1. Like, I had a feeling that this 2026, it's not just about this year, it's about the bigger picture. And the fact that it's year 1 in numerology, 1 is the first step of a cycle. of the 9-year cycle. So this is very much in alignment. So you're going to have to sow the seeds this year for your long-term future, your long-term success. It's also a great combination for new sources of income, new jobs, new connections with wealthy people. You could also be connecting with a financial institution, or, taking steps with regards to your finances and your material well-being in general, and also by extension, your work and your business. So the fish really focuses this theme. Now, the clouds with the whip and tower, this is a challenging combination, and I would say it's the most challenging from the whole reading across all 3 layers. There are complications, maybe in relation to admin, legal, formal things. You need to get that house in order, and I would say the sooner you can get it out of the way, the better. It's like those scythes that we've been seeing in the other layers. So there is a situation here that's been stuck, that's not clear, you need to really get to work on this and just get it out of the way. You could also be letting go. Letting go of certain environments that are represented by the tower. Typically, these are either work, businesses, certain legal admin kind of situations here. So this needs resolution in order to move forward. So focus on this. Now you do move forward. The heart, fish, and road is lovely, lovely for financial health, abundance, prosperity, and being open. So it's a little bit beyond the material here. There's a sense of gratitude, a sense of openness, and the fish and road is definitely going to put you on a path of wealth and success, whatever that means to you. Remember, it only matters to you. So focus on this. I would say open your heart, open your mind to your talent and the all of the success and prosperity that you can attract, and be open to options. In fact, the road with the fish, the road with different cards, can suggest multiple options. You could have different sources of income. You could be diversifying, opening up to different opportunities, and that's going to be key. The child with the moon and bear, another powerful line here. The child and moon is a new phase. It's pretty straightforward, a new phase, the new moon. And the bear is a card of strength and power. So this is an important new chapter. We see this from the towers, from the bear, from the lily. We've got these, big lifetime kind of cards. And so this could be quite a year where you could really step up financially, work-wise, with yourself, with your sense of strength. These are lovely cards. You could also get promotions. Maybe it's a year when you become a manager or a business owner, or you have, more responsibilities. So this is quite exciting. Now the clouds with the heart and child, lovely new beginning. Maybe you're just feeling stressed a little bit about it. You could also be lacking in clarity. Of course, that's part of the year. That's part of the deal. All of this decluttering and changing and being sharp with removing what isn't working, that's part of the thought process. And so you really want to get into understanding yourself, what really makes you happy, what makes you, what's going to pull you through. But the heart and child are lovely for a new beginning. They could also point to in your relationship. You could be, maybe you have someone in mind and you're wondering how it could work out, or maybe you're single and you want to meet someone, or perhaps you want to take your relationship to a new chapter. This could be on your mind. The child is lovely for a fresh start, especially with the heart. There's a sense of openness and innocence here. So really, really nice cards. Here's the whip, fish, and moon. So these are financial troubles in a most straightforward, literal sense with the whip and fish. So you could be going through some challenges, or maybe you're not too happy with the current picture. But the moon is a lovely card, and it can attract more wealth, more prosperity. It's also great for a job offer, a business offer, or collaborations, whatever it looks like for you. You could turn around the whip into a fresh start. And of course, these tie in all together. So it's really nice how the story unfolds. Now, if it's not about work and money, I have to say, that the whip and fish can bring up the more sensual, physical aspects of a relationship. And maybe you could have a really nice connection with someone here where there's a strong attraction. This too is possible. Now the Tower with the Road and Bear. Here's another line that tells us that you could be in for a long path. So this direction that you're moving into, it unfolds over the longer term, most probably beyond this year. Again, it's year 1, beginning of a cycle. And it's quite empowering. This is definitely a path of growth and empowerment. You probably are going to have more responsibilities. You're going to have to grow and grow up and be up to them, but it's looking really exciting in all cases. So a powerful reading. Really, really nice cards. So with these 3 layers, let's look at the triplets and then we'll put it all together for our takeaway for 2026. So position 1, we have the dog with the anchor and clouds. Well, the clouds tends to cause the solid anchor to wobble a bit. And with the dog, again, you could be having a thought about your relationships. I also encourage you to maintain healthy boundaries. Again, it sounds like it's going to be really key for your focus. And also to be of support. Let's not forget this. It's not just about other people, what they do for you, but also what you do for others. So make sure you're supportive and that you invest yourself in the people who care and whom you care about. And I could add, since this cloud just dropped off here to give me a sign, with regards to work and your activity, or this anchor in your life, think about it and think about how you feel about it and how you would, what you would do to improve it to feel that you're more engaged in what you do. So just an additional thought. The next, let's go in rows. So the next one is the moon, dog, and whip. So we're seeing the dog twice. This is a challenging triplet. There could be a disagreement with one or more people. There could be fallouts with people. You could also turn down offers and collaborations. And the whip with people cards, it's not about being active and moving forward aggressively like the whip can suggest. Typically it's more of an argument and a relationship not doing so well. The moon can soften this a little bit, but it's also about honors and offers. So I feel that there could be a bit of a fall from glory, let's say, with certain people. And you could be turning down offers as well. Well, it's a good thing that you have options, but I think this year you're going to have to be a bit more picky, to bring out this focus. You're going to need to be a bit more picky. The ring, scythe, and tower. So here's another one. Okay, where this is the divorce combination. So we've got the dog and whip, the ring and scythe. These are strong combinations, they're not easy. So this is pretty sharp, pretty final as well. And on top of this, we have the scythe and tower, which is a release from the past. So you could definitely be removing something big in your life this year. You could be changing jobs, moving, changing institutions, letting go of maybe divorcing or, letting go of people. And again, the tower, which figures twice, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, here. It's about the long term. Okay, so we're shaking the cage and shaking things because we need to align with the longer term. Year 1, beginning of the cycle. Triplet number 4. Here's another scythe with the lily. So similar ideas, the tower and lily, they have this long-term life kind of view. And with the heart, this idea of what you love. Do we have the heart twice? Yes. What you love, what you're passionate about, or the relationships that matter most, they need to be in focus. The scythe and lily definitely points to changes in your life. And the goal of that is to align with the things that you want. It's possible also that it points to a relationship fall through, probably one that you've had a long time. a bit like with the Tower. So we're seeing these recurring messages, and I have to say these are not the easiest or the lightest of cards. They're quite sharp, and they could be pretty heavy-handed. So again, I feel that the shakeups this year are not everyday shakeups, and you're really setting the foundation for the coming cycle. Here's the triplet of the center. This is beautiful. It's really nice to see it in the central cards. This tells us that, despite the challenges around you, at the core, you are definitely aligning with prosperity and success, possibly on a big scale. Great cards for business, great cards for investments, great cards for wealth and prosperity. Really great cards are also for all sorts of ventures and things that are going to pay off. So have faith in yourself, okay? So when you're in the middle of these deep changes, okay, remember why you're doing this. It's going to pay off. It sounds like it's going to be a good year for money and your work, your business, your prosperity, aligning with the long-term picture, your far future, your retirement, your pension, and what it looks like when you get there. And so the changes are for your health and well-being and for your success. So very exciting. It could be a year when you go in business for yourself, or, you improve your finances. Triplet number 6, the mouse, the rider, and the road. So the mouse is a bit of a wobbly card. It causes bumps and issues and annoyances. And the rider and road, though, are lovely for just moving forward. So getting over these bumps and moving forward. And especially in this order, it's lovely because it's clear that you're going to just get past these issues and you're going to move forward. Now, the mouse typically is not a huge deal. It has a key advice. It advises you to manage things while they are small before they get out of hand, because you don't want them to grow into a bigger deal. And so you're definitely going to be able to take care of that across different areas. And the rider and road is a speedy, flowing movement combination, lots of momentum. It's like things are out of the way and you're off, and that's a really good thing to aim for. So if you can put it in your mindset that you want to bring yourself to a state where, it's your movement is free. There's no obstacles, delays, things pulling you back, things getting in the way. You want to get to a point where you've got all of that out of the way and you can get into a flow and explore these options and just put yourself on that path. So really nice here. Number 7, we have the heart, snake, and child. So this one a bit challenging as well. The snake is not harsh like the whip and the scythe, but it's quite a toxic card. And with the snake, this could be a relationship disappointment. And with the child on the other side, you're definitely turning into a new direction. So we're seeing these recurring messages throughout your portraits and across the layers. So it's going to be a key theme this year. Relationships that aren't working, that are in the way, that are toxic, that are past their, whatever they were there for, and to move on into a new beginning. And also, this is a good combination to remind you to put yourself first. The snake is toxic, but it can be very smart. It is. And it's really, like we said earlier, really focus on the goals. So you need to reassess. Are you invested in the things that you genuinely love, or do you need to pull back and pull away from certain things? The answer is that you probably do, like we saw all throughout, and you need to turn into a new beginning. Spiritually, nice combination for shedding skin. Yeah, transformations. I think this deeper transformation is happening. So here's combination 8, another tower with the tree and moon. So we've got the tower twice, and it is that card of the long term. The tree is also a slower card, and so is the moon. So this is really an unfolding. So like I said, these changes can happen pretty quickly, but then the building and this new direction and the focus that you're going to be on, it's going to take time to unfold, and probably over way beyond a year. So this is your life vision, okay? So really nice cards to focus you and connect you with your vision. The tree is very beautiful. The moon is lovely. The tower can be a bit dry, a bit cold, but it also has an element of guidance. So really nice cards that bring out your sense of connection with your life and your well-being and who you are and, you know, how it's all coming together. These are great cards for health, for well-being. They're great cards for slowing down. And they could also be about getting offers and getting appreciation and growing and getting promotions. Also great cards for this. So a lovely triplet here as well. And finally, we've got the child, another child with the man and bear. So here's a lovely new relationship with someone who's pretty important, or the relationship is important. And this could be really, really exciting. Wonderful new relationship here. Whether it's personal or something else, you know, the bear makes this important. So what do you make of these lovely messages? Are you ready for a shakeup? Are you ready to get serious about your life direction, about the people in your life, about what you're investing yourself in, what you make of this, how it's resonating with you? And I want to encourage you to do something, okay? When you hear these messages from whoever and you're inspired, just grab your journal and write it down, okay? Because our feelings and our connections with these messages could be a bit fleeting, but when you write it down, you could remind yourself of the insight that it brought out for you so that you can do something about it. So thank you for tuning in. Very, very best of luck with 2026. Let's go through this together. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, welcome to group 2. Are you ready for your 2026 overview? Let's go ahead and deal layer 1, and let's keep an open mind about the guidance and the direction and the opportunities and likely the challenges that are ahead for you in 2026. So we're using the Zen deck for layer 1. Let's go ahead and see what is in store for you. Okay, look at this portrait. Clearly about love. We have lots of cards and a concentration of cards that have to do with love. The left-hand side column, this should be obvious. The heart as your cover card. It doesn't have to be about love as such, but it is very much about feelings. And then we have the moon and ring, which bring this into the picture. We have the sun and moon, which are typically about love. And the rest of the cards are more or less neutral. The child points to a new beginning, and the mouse is a little bit challenging, but easily overcome. So what is in store for you in 2026? Well, obviously a relationship, and likely a new one. So with the heart, tower, and anchor, the focus here is on a long-term relationship. It is possible that it comes from a past relationship or it builds on a past experience, but you definitely want to focus on the long term. I also want to suggest that with this line, you don't want to take shortcuts. You want to stick with what you're doing as well, and you've got to have the long view. So this is a longer term game. Now, the ring with the tower and sun, this is a very, very beautiful line. This sun here is one of the brightest cards of the deck. And the ring and tower again suggests a long-term relationship and one that is secure and happy and fulfilling. The tower can also have that element of being connected with the past. So it is possible that you build on a past relationship, or that someone you knew from before becomes that important relationship in your life. And I do think it's going to be about love, but of course, maybe not all of you. Let's just wait till the end, and then we'll look at the different possibilities here. So right from the get-go, we see a focus on relationships and the long term. Another thing about the tower is that, especially in the center of a portrait, it is a card that blesses you. It is a neutral card. It can even be a card of coldness and isolation in some contexts, but it has an element of mystery because it's the watchtower. And so it points to guidance, and probably mysterious guidance. So this is going to ask for faith and trust, and also to allow time to do its thing and to allow the picture to unfold this year. So very beautiful right from the get-go. Now the heart, mouse, and sun at the top here. We have the mouse, which is a little bit challenging. The mouse is about bumps and annoyances. It's not very dramatic. It has a key piece of advice, and that is to focus on the small things while they are small before they grow into anything bigger. Now with the sun, this is not going to grow into anything bigger or anything more difficult. The sun easily helps you overcome almost any challenge, and certainly the mouse kind of challenges, these little annoyances and bumps. Now, when we've got the heart and mouse together, it tells us that maybe you'd been a little bit challenged emotionally, or maybe you had been going through an experience that gave you a bit of insecurity and doubts when it comes to relationships and love and feelings in other areas, really, not just necessarily about love and people. But the sun is a healing card, so we're definitely looking at overcoming any of these doubts, self-doubts, issues, and little bumps that you may have in terms of this area. The moon with the tower and letter, this is a lovely line for an offer. The moon and letter are definitely about offers, and the tower can suggest a certain institution or an environment or some kind of authority here. So you could get an invitation from someone special or someone important. And this doesn't have to just affect your love life. It can affect other areas of your life as well. We could be looking at a work offer. The tower is a card of institutions and formalities as well. So with the moon, tower, and letter, we have a clear possibility of different interpretations, whereas these other cards were more focused on love and feelings and that sense of security that comes with it. So a good offer could be coming through. And also in terms of love, the idea of a connection, contact, and being in touch with someone, with prospects, materializes. And again, the tower plays this time role where it points to something more serious, and it also suggests that it could be based from a past chapter, or maybe it's something that had been unfolding over time and it finally results into contact and communication. The ring and child and anchor, these are lovely cards for a new beginning. The ring and child is very much about a new relationship, and the child and anchor brings an element of security and certainty as you move into this new relationship. So it's looking pretty good and solid here right from the get-go. And the cards can also suggest new beginnings in other areas. It's maybe a new job building on this, or something new in terms of these more formal, more professional areas of your life. There's definitely a new beginning materializing here. Now, the heart with the moon and ring is lovely for love and relationships. This is the line that caught our eye from the get-go. The moon is a card of offers, yes, but it also is the card of intuition, attraction, and, passion even. And certainly with the heart, there is a focus on the chemistry, the attraction between you and this person. And it's lovely to see the ring here, because the ring is a solid card for one-on-one relationships. It's not passing, it's more committed. It does represent that bind, if you like, between two people. So seeing it with the heart and moon is very supportive for that connection deepening and that relationship becoming warmer and stronger. And yes, it can apply in other connections as well. And it can be a work offer. It can be other kinds of offers, but there's certainly a really good element of connection and the warmth that comes with that. Now, the mouse with the tower and child, this is another confirmation of a new beginning. It does T-cross the bottom row where we have that ring and child combination. In here, we see that you could have struggled for some time, or there could have been past struggles, but you overcome them and you welcome a new fresh start. So this is very beautiful. And it does tell us that you're going to heal and overcome these issues, which is what we saw in the top row. So notice how they all connect, and it makes sense. And there's a lovely story here that's unfolding. And again, the mouse is not very challenging, but with the tower, it can mean that things have sort of grown over time. And maybe it's been a while since you'd been stuck in that situation, or feeling a little bit, upset on some level about relationships and other areas. And the tower with the child is a very good combination for forgiveness. So it's very much a healing combination. And with a beautiful card like the Sun, there's a lot of positive energy here. So you're definitely open to the new, open to a new relationship, open to a new chapter and a new beginning in any area. But I feel it's mainly about your relationships. Now, the Sun with the letter and anchor is a beautiful message for wonderful news, a wonderful offer, and also a positive conclusion. So the anchor is that card of strength, and it's a very solid card, and it brings things to a conclusion. And the Sun is an all-around happy, positive card. It delivers on wishes, it heals, it shines its light everywhere. With the letter and anchor, it's clear that there's very positive communication and definitely clarity and understanding and an agreement moving forward. So this is very positive feedback. This is the news that you need. And this is the news that brings things onto the same page. So very beautiful cards here that tie in with what we saw earlier. So there's definitely an offer and a conclusion and an agreement on this offer. And I have to say that these cards are really clear. They bring a lot of clarity, a lot of positive outcomes. And they also bring an element of certainty and security for the long term, not just now. Really, with the Sun and Tower and the anchor and Tower, there's like a long-term feeling of security and steadiness. A really nice first layer. Let's move on to layer number 2. For this, we are using the Tarot Lenormand deck. And we're going to overlay another portrait on top of these. See what else we get about them and what other dynamics and events are happening for you in 2026. Okay, here are some very pretty cards as well. We've got the Moon twice. Where's the Moon? Here's the Moon, and then the heart is here. So the heart comes here, the Moon comes down. So we've got the heart and Moon twice. Again, really focusing on this chemistry and this connection. We have the Stork in the middle, which is great for action along with the Rider. And we've got the letter again. So the letter twice, the Moon twice, and the heart twice. We do have the Snake. The Snake is a little bit tricky, but I'm not so inclined to see it as toxic as it can be. Instead, it can really be a clever card and help you get what you want, but in a more indirect way. So the letter as your cover card. So this is lovely news. Usually when the letter is on the cover card or the first position of the portrait, it can mean that you're the one who communicates, you're the one who initiates the contact. But we saw contact earlier, so this is probably a continuation and the feedback loop and the interchange that you have between you and this person, like the exchanges. With the Stork and Rider, there is definitely the green light, the feedback, the kickoff, the okay, and the go ahead that comes through. So you're definitely going to be able to act on this news, and the feedback is positive and it really sets things into motion for sure. So it's going to be past the give and take, past the exchanges into action and agreement, which works really well with this anchor that we saw earlier. Now, the Moon with the Stork and Lily, this is another clear message of an offer. And the Lily being a card of work and career and life path, the changes and the offer that is kicked off here is probably going to affect more than just your job or some smaller area of your life. I do think there can be some bigger changes here. You could be looking at lifestyle changes and improvements, and this is looking really exciting. And the Moon is lovely all around. It does bring that element of chemistry and attraction, like we said, and it has a gentle feel. So it softens everything and it makes everything kind of sweet. So the Stork and Lily is great for changes, and probably as a result of this offer, the invitation, or the relationship as we build on the first layer. Now, the letter with the Garden and Lily, this is another support for what we just said. The Garden and Lily would typically represent a professional environment or sometimes a health environment. And the letter is another confirmation or another indication of that news, that announcement, that the give and take, the communication that you're going through. So there's a focus on exchanges. There's a focus on people. The Garden is a broader card when it comes to people. It's about your community, your society, a group of people, a network, those sorts of environments, as opposed to one-on-one relationships. So there's definitely some networking, some communication that is encouraged here. Now, the Heart with the Stork and Clover, this is another very beautiful triplet. It's great for love. It's great for happy feelings and happiness. The Clover is one of the brightest cards, and it tells us that there's some very lucky changes, some very lucky activity, and you're able to make changes and do things that are aligned with what you want. In terms of love, this could be very exciting. It's very clear that there are some steps and activities and opportunities to engage with this person, and also to move forward with things that you want to do. So very pretty so far. The Moon, Snake, and Rider is a little bit challenging because of the snake. And yes, it can be a toxic card, but I'm not really seeing this here. Instead, the snake is more about this indirect approach, this calmer and more cautious approach, especially with a card like the Rider and the Moon, where there's an element of discretion and taking that indirect route. So things are working out really well. There is just a piece of advice in here to take it easy as you are able to engage in this relationship, in this work, in this, I think, maybe almost a whirlwind of activity that is ahead for you. So remember to be cautious on some level, and also to maintain a level of discretion. I also want to suggest that you're on the right track and everything, but if it feels like it's not the direct route, take it easy, because sometimes it's going to be a roundabout approach, and that is totally fine. Now, the Letter with the Heart and Moon, this is another beautiful message of the Heart and Moon figuring together here, really highlighting that love, those feelings of attraction, and that magnetism that comes with the Moon. And the Heart brings up these feelings, usually it's about love. It doesn't have to be, but I think there's a good chance, pretty good chance that it's going to be. And with the Letter, this is very happy news. Obviously, it aligns with your hopes and your wishes. So again, there are some very exciting prospects and some progress in a direction that is aligned with what you want. And this is really, really lovely. Now, the Garden with the Stork and Snake, here we're seeing the snake again. The Garden and Stork points to activity, involvements, being busy with people, being out there in the marketplace, connecting with others in different areas of your life. And the snake is going to remind you that you maintain some discretion, because in any bigger environment, there's going to be types who are either envious, who are not aligned with you, don't have the best of intentions, and people like that. So just keep that in mind. And also remember that this is going to tie into the bottom row, where we suggested that you take a more indirect approach. So don't come on too strong, maintain your discretion. If you're trying to get along with others, or, you're trying to win their support in some way, you have to do it in a more indirect way. So be patient with that. And also remember to keep some things to yourself. Now, the Lily with the Clover and Rider is lovely. This is very exciting for your goals, for your work, for your life path in general. It sounds like you're going to be really enthusiastic. You're going to feel like you're in a good place to pursue your goals, and you're going to have a lot of momentum. You're feeling optimistic, and you've got the go-ahead, and there's a lot of inspiration and happiness around you. So it's going to feel like you're really in a flow, and you're able to move ahead with your goals. A lot of things could be falling into place this year. This is great. And again, I want to remind you, because of your snake, don't try to be pushy, just allow things to unfold, people to come around, things to fall into place, the relationship to move forward, and so on. So let's move on to layer number 3. For this one, we've got the blink of an eye, and we're going to draw another layer of portrait on top of these. Okay, look at these very beautiful cards. I mean, this is a really shiny portrait. There's all of these bubbly cards coming through. We've got the Sun, Star, and Clover. 2 clovers in here. We're going to look at the triplets in a bit. We've got the Sun again. We had it in the first layer, yes. So very beautiful. And the Tower showing up again. I think we have the Tower, in the middle portrait 1. So in here, we've got the Tower and Mountain in the key positions. These are slower cards. So things are going to take through the year, maybe a little bit beyond, to work out fully. And also the Tower and Mountain can sometimes represent a really like a past chapter and really far behind, usually. But it's really nice to see the Star on the other side of this, because it sounds like this chapter is materializing into something really wonderful, something that you had put on hold, a past relationship or something that you'd been working on for some time. It materializes in a very, very beautiful way. And also, we could be looking at an obstacle, because the Mountain is often an obstacle, a blockage of sorts. And with the Tower, it's likely that you'd been dealing with this for some time, but with the beautiful Star on the other side of the Mountain here, there is like, there's a healing and wish fulfillment. So this blockage is definitely dissolved, and you could even come out with some wish materializing. If you're looking at a move, or you have a base in another location, or you're looking at traveling or creating some kind of connection with people in a different location or with something in a different location, the Star is very, very blessed, and it's very clear that you're going to get your wish. The Man with the Mountain and Dog, here is a clear reference to people. So the Man and Dog are both people cards, and they clearly represent someone important to you. Now, the Mountain can mean that he's from another place, a foreigner, or maybe you're connected online or through that other location. That's one possibility, but the Mountain can also suggest a blockage between you and this person. So this is the blockage that's going to be resolved. And again, focus on this relationship, which is materializing very, very clearly. Now, in the top row, we have the Tower, Book, and Dog. This can take on a few different meanings. The Tower and Book is often a combination of education, and typically more specialized education, more specialized skills. It can point to expertise. Now, as the Dog is at the end of the line, it can mean two things. Either you're aspiring to become more expert in something, or you could be mentoring someone. So you could also be teaching, researching, mentoring, leading the way in some sort of area. That is a possible interpretation here. If this is about a relationship, a more personal relationship, you can look forward to getting to know this person over time. So again, there is a lot of excitement and a lot of progress, but the relationship seems to unfold over time. So take your time to get to know this person as a friend, and in other ways, depending on your specific circumstance. But definitely a supportive combination for people and friends, especially in view of the other cards that we're going to get to. The Clouds and Mountain is challenging. It's not very dramatic, but it does point to blockages, being stuck, being like not sure what to make of things. The Clouds is often a card of the mind, and it has that psychological association. And with the Mountain, there's a blockage, a sense of stuckness. Now, this reminds me of what we saw in layer 1, where we had these, where we said that you'd been dealing with some past issues or upsets, and these are going to be overcome. So we see a very similar idea here, because we have the Clouds and Mountain, which are representing this stuckness. But then we have the beautiful Clover, which is one of the luckiest, brightest cards of the deck. And so it's clear that you're going to overcome these doubts, you're going to overcome the stuckness. And if this is about the connection between you and this person, you're going to overcome whatever distance. And there's going to be opportunity here to make things work and materialize your goals. We're going to get to this very beautiful right-hand side column in just a bit. Not that this one isn't as bright, to be fair. We've got both the Sun and Star, two of the shiniest, brightest cards of the deck, and they're stronger than the Clover. The Clover is often taken to point to small luck, a lot of authors see it like luck in small doses. I don't really see it this way. I think it just depends. But the sun and star, they have that strength, that strength associated with the sky, the big sun, the big stars, and so on. We're seeing them with this man, and clearly this is about a relationship that works out really, really well. And here it is again. So the dog, clover, and star, very, very beautiful for a relationship. Lovely. So I think it's pretty clear that your 2026 is going to focus on a relationship, a really, really nice relationship. I think it's love. It can be other things. It could be multiple relationships in different areas, some love, some other friends, some professional, but there is a very clear focus on a very supportive relationship. These cards are as bright as it gets. The sun and star, and then the clover. These are as bright as you can hope them to be. So really, this relationship, whatever it is for you, it is looking amazing. Now, the tower with the clouds and man points to issues, some challenges here. And it does T-cross the middle row, which works out. And then we're going to see it T-crossing here as well. So the tower and clouds can mean that you'd been confused or unsure about this relationship for some time. It's also possible that the other party could have felt this way as well. Or maybe things were in the way for some time. So that's part of the process or the unfolding or your reality. The book with the mountain and sun can mean that you discover or go to a place that you haven't been to before. It can point to travel. And the thing about the book is that it's the card of mysteries and unknown. And with the mountain being often a place abroad, the sun is a summer vacation, usually when they show up together. So this sounds like an opportunity to travel or to meet with this person and go somewhere exciting. And I say meet with this person because it T-crosses this beautiful line at the bottom where we saw the man. So it's likely that there is some distance or some kind of obstacles in your way, in the way between the two of you, and you're going to close that gap. And that's going to be one exciting part of your year. And then we have the lovely line here. Very similar to the bottom row, clover, star, sun, star. They're very bright cards. And we've got the dog here, which is like the man, focusing on this friendship or this relationship. And like we said, it T-crosses these cards, right? So this is how the T-cross, they continue and build on each other. So these challenges here, they're going to be easily overcome. And you're going to find yourself in this very, very beautiful relationship. So very, very exciting. And I have to say the challenges are not huge challenges. They're just expected challenges. We're not seeing a whip. We're not seeing it with the scythe. We're not seeing depressing cards like the coffin in certain contexts, although the coffin can be bright in some combinations as well. But really, these are bright, bright cards, and they're very clearly focused on people. Great for relationships. This 2026 years of yours, I would say the year of relationships. So with this said, let's get into the triplets, which is one of my favorite parts of doing this 3D portrait reading. Okay, so this first one, the heart, letter, and tower. So we've seen these sorts of ideas elsewhere. The heart and letter is great news. We saw it in the first one. Here's the heart. Yeah, the heart with where's the news? Here, yeah, right. The moon with the letter and tower. So there's a sort of a similar structure that we're seeing over and over. These are lovely cards for good news, happy news. It can be also formal stuff, maybe applications, certifications, honors. These are all also possible for you. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It could be a number of them. It just depends on your specific situation. So very lovely news, and probably the news or the feedback or whatever is represented by this letter contact here, it has a long-term effect. So really nice. Moving on to triplet number 2, we've got the mouse with the garden and book. I say this is a bit like the snake energy we saw in layer 2, where if there are some people you don't know, a situation or a kind of environment that you're new to, just be a bit wary, you know, being cautious about people. Another possibility is that maybe you have some skill gaps, some knowledge gaps, and you need to close those. So a bit of homework, a bit of learning, studying, getting some skills could be part of your growth here as well. I'm not so sure this is tying into the relationships. And the reason I say that is, if this were about relationships, it would be more about dating and getting to know people. And it's not my feeling, based on all the layers, that this is someone you don't know yet. It sounds like it's built on a past chapter or a past experience, and that there could be something already in the works. You know, still, if you're meeting people and you're going out and dating, you know, there's probably going to be a phase where you're just getting to know, you know, the atmosphere in general. I don't think this is the primary thing happening, but it could. Okay, triplet number 3. The sun, lily, and dog. Very beautiful. So these are great friendships, great professional connections. It's also a lovely combination for work, for doing well at work, and also for being on a path of maybe promotion or getting more serious about a certain path. You know, the dog is a junior card, the lily is a senior card, and the sun is all around success. So you could be on a path where you're growing to become more expert, more specialized. And I have to say, there's quite a few cards that support this. So it's not going to be just about love. Obviously, we're looking at a full year, so there's going to be a few different areas. Very beautiful cards, great for health, and also great for friendships and connections. So lovely triplet here. Triplet number 4, we've got the moon with the heart and clouds. So the moon and heart we've seen a few times already. Is it this one? Yeah, we have, it's this one here. And the clouds can bring a bit of doubt. So usually when we see the heart and clouds, you could be wondering if someone, how they feel about you, if they reciprocate your feelings. So there could be a bit of tension here. And we've seen this a few times, you know, that could be with the mouse in the top, maybe the snake in the bottom. So there's a few doubts that you're going to go through, but I think that's part of the process. And it's really, the clouds is not a huge deal. Now the central cards, we've got the Tower, Stork, and Mountain. And these are neutral. You know, they're not as bright as the others, but, you know, seeing them in the center, they have some significance. And I see this triplet as overcoming the past, overcoming any obstacles, and also a step up and growth. So there is definitely an opportunity for you this year to come out of a past situation, the current status quo, any limitations. There's a stepping up and out of it. So that's exciting. It could also be a combination of travel, maybe to a place that you've been to before. And we've got the Tower and Mountain here, and we have the Tower and Mountain here. And I said that the Mountain and Tower can suggest a deep past chapter. So it could be healing, it could be reconnecting with it. There's definitely something that had been either dormant or stuck for some time that is resolved and that you're able to move on from. So very exciting. Travel is also possible, travel in general. Here's a lovely one, triplet number 6. The letter with 2 clovers. So this is double luck in the most straightforward way. And this news here is lovely. We've seen the letter twice as well. The book can be a card of news as well, but we also have the Rider, which is a news card. So very clear that there's some very good news here. The letter can also be other sorts of communications. It could be paperwork. You could get an application approval. You could get a certification, which I have to say works well with quite a few of these Tower book cards. And otherwise, it's just great news all around. So there's going to be a major green light for you this year. Here's combination number 7, the Ring, Moon, and Man. I mean, it doesn't get clearer, honestly, with Lenormand. This is a relationship and a lovely one. It could be an offer. It could be marriage. It could be a really deepening connection here. Very clear. And I think there's a lot of love cards, like I said, but again, relationships in any area are looking really bright for you this year. And I think there's going to be a connection that, materializes and that strengthens. And so it's going to be on a solid footing. So it's not just getting to know the person or the whole thing unfolding. Yes, there's probably going to be a phase of that, but we do see things falling into place proper, and really taking hold. So really nice triplet here. Triplet number 7, we've got the Child, Snake, and Sun. These are lovely. The Snake is sometimes a toxic card, but with the Sun, it is not. It brings out the wisdom element of the snake, and it brings out the clever side of the snake. We've got the Child here. My feeling is because there's a bit of a spiritual element with the Sun, you could be shedding skin, so this could be a deeper transformation, not just a straight up new beginning. And it aligns very well with everything else. There's a lot of feeling cards, intuition cards, guidance cards, the Star, the Sun, the Clover, the Moon, the Heart twice, and the Tower, and the Book. There's a lot of these deeper energy cards, and I'm so happy for this. I love to see these sorts of cards because life is not just about getting the good, these goodies, it's about the deeper path, and what is life without this kind of awareness? Really, it's just half the game. So when I'm seeing this triplet in the context of all of these really, how do I say? I don't even have words for it. They're just lovely. You're gonna tell me. I trust that you're gonna tell me. You're shedding skin. There's a new journey, and I think in new consciousness here. And okay, so from day-to-day perspective, the more mundane approach to these cards, just take it easy as you move into this new beginning. You can trust that things are working out and they're heading in the right direction. Oh, I love this. This is fabulous. Okay, last triplet. Anchor, Rider, and Star. Well, it just keeps getting better, really. This is just an awesome 3D. So the Anchor and Rider, usually if you take the Rider and Anchor, it's like arriving somewhere because the Rider is that movement card. And if you have the Anchor and Rider, you could be picking up and going somewhere. So I want to keep it flexible. I don't want to be, rigid about the order of these two because we've got the Star and, we have also different layers of portrait. So we saw the conclusion in layer 1. So you're definitely on the right track and your path is leading to your desired goals. In every area, the Anchor and Rider are flexible in this sense. And of course, the Star being like an overarching higher level card. It suggests wishes materializing in different areas, depends really. Very beautiful to see it here. This is high achievement. You're in for achieving some major goals this year. This is a fabulous spread. I think this is an enviable spread. A lot of us would like to have this as our forecast. But I have to say the other readings are also very enlightening. But this one is loaded, almost loaded with so much feeling, so much heart, so much spirituality that I really want to encourage you to maybe touch base with this reading often if it reminds you to connect with that source. And maybe write it down so that you're always, remembering how you can achieve a lot, and be connected and attract a lot. So it's a great reading for any context. But the key message is, to just sort of summarize, definitely on a relationship. Very, very wonderful for a relationship. There's a new beginning. Also very blessed for a new beginning. And there is an element of learning, graduation, improving your skills, becoming more expert. And there's also really good messages for overcoming blockages or past issues or pending issues. Very best of luck with 2026. I also want to encourage you to watch your 2026 Astro Clock. I think I forgot to mention that at the beginning. I'll put in links anyway. And best of luck with this beautiful, beautiful set of cards. Okay, let's bring this to a close. Keep me posted. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Welcome to your reading. This is reading number 3. And like we said, we are doing a 3D portrait focusing on 2026, getting guidance for the year. So let's keep an open mind again, and let's focus on your vision for 2026, and let's see what comes up in the cards. So going ahead to start with layer number 1, portrait number 1 with the Zen deck. Okay, this is a big deal of a portrait. This is a lot of changes and it's going to be rocky. So layer 1 is really rocky. We've got the whip, the scythe, and the clouds. These two are the strongest cards, but the clouds in the middle. And the rest of the cards around are pretty neutral. So we are seeing that there's going to be changes, and there's also going to be maybe some difficulties with people, some confrontations, and very likely also some separations. So we're going to see this in a few lines. But the clouds in the center really focuses you on the mind. The clouds is a card of the mind. It's a psychological card. It points to the need to be focused. And often it brings up confusion. So you're going to need to make up your mind about a few things. So it's going to be critical. The dog is your cover card. This is typically a card of friends and siblings and colleagues and, people you get along with at your level, let's say. And seeing the dog as your cover card can bring in two things. First, it can suggest that you be friendly or that you be open to friendships. And second, it can bring up your friends into the picture. So it could be your focus in addition to the clouds. Now, because of the way the portrait plays out, my feeling is that this is more about a revision of certain relationships in your life. Now, the dog with the clouds and rider is a card combination for some challenges, some complications, probably with people, friends, siblings, or whoever the dog represents for you. Now, what's really nice is that the rider is really good at moving forward, and it's really good at moving past the issues. So especially in this order, it's clear that the rider is going to overcome the difficulties or the challenges that we see through the clouds. Now, another thing that comes up with the rider is the advice that it gives. And the rider is very good at moving forward. So it's going to be key for you not to stay stuck. And we're going to see this confirmed from almost every other line. The rider is great for moving forward, for letting go. So don't hang on to resentment. Don't hang on to the confusion, the stuckness. You just move forward, and you're going to find yourself with a lot of momentum once you make up your mind to move ahead. Now, the garden with the clouds and scythe, this is a clear message of a breakthrough and getting past the challenges. The scythe is a challenging card. It is a card of risk. It can be a card of danger and urgency, but it is also very good at cutting away and cutting through. When we see it with the clouds, you're going to be able to see through the confusion. You're going to be able to break through the hesitation or the doubts. Now, earlier we have the garden, and the garden is another card for people. We saw the dog as people, the rider can be, and the garden is a card of community and environment, people, places. It's more social, and it goes beyond the one-on-one. It can also represent any specific place in your life, like the workplace or maybe a group of people that you're part of, and so on. So when we see the garden with this line here, the combination, clouds and scythe, there are some issues that come up in this environment, and you're going to have to get past them. There's going to be a resolution. It can mean letting go or moving away from this environment. It seems that it's getting negative and tense and complicated, and it's not clear what's going on. So it sounds like your best way is to just move away from it. Now, there is a confirmation with the top row because we have the heart and scythe. And the heart and scythe often points to a heartbreak. We've got the dog earlier, which points to a relationship. So it's very clear that there is a separation from people. We've got the garden and the dog and the heart. So there is that confirmation of letting go of certain people. Now, the heart can be difficult in this sense because it's emotional, it's a card of feelings, and with the scythe, it can point to a heartbreak, so it can be more personal, not just the act of moving away or releasing yourself. So it could be challenging in this way. We can't dismiss that. And it's also likely and possible that you need to break away from certain people. So this is going to come over and over in your portrait. Here's another one, the whip with the clouds and book. Now, I know the whip is challenging, but with the clouds, it's actually good news. It's a bit like the scythe with the clouds. There is that stuckness where you're in a mindset where you're stuck or confused or you're not sure what to do about this. And the whip and clouds is going to help you break through that. They're both quite aggressive in their energy and they're very active cards. So they're really going to help you see through this. And the book, even though it's at the end of the line, it is a card of secrecy and things that are closed. And obviously, this lack of information or this not knowing and being stuck is a source of difficulty for you. And one of your missions this year is going to be to break through that and to get to the bottom of it and come out with clarity. So there is that element of mystery, of secrecy, of misunderstanding, of not knowing, lack of knowledge, lack of clarity. All of that is something that you're going to have to confront quite strongly this year. And we'll see that, when it T-crosses with the right-hand side column here, it's going to be great for breaking through and moving forward, which is also what we saw in other lines. The garden with the lily and rider, this is a more or less neutral combination. It can be positive. The lily and garden can bring up your professional environment or maybe a more health-oriented environment. And the rider here points to getting together, visiting, going places, exploring. So it's definitely a good idea to get out of your small zone or your scope or your, the present boundaries of your life, social life, work life, or whatever area you feel is coming through, or maybe just your life in general, and get out there, and break through these boundaries and explore other people. You need to break out of this right now or this year. Now, the dog with the whip and garden is another clear message of difficulties with people. We saw this at the top. We saw this in the first diagonal, and here's the left column. So the whip is a card of arguments, essentially, and problems, and we see it with the dog and with the garden. So clearly there are problems with people. I think you could break away from a certain environment. It could be the workplace. It could be a community that you're part of, maybe a hobby group, and so forth. There's lots of different groups that, people can be part of. So that's going to be up to you. But the dynamics of the cards are pretty clear. So there's going to be some of that this year. Now, the heart with the clouds and lily, this is a somewhat helpful combination. It's a bit difficult because of the clouds, but the key here with the heart and clouds is to get clarity around what you want and what you want to invest yourself in. It could be in relation to your work because of the lily, or it could be in relation to your life in general, like you could be revisiting your direction. So this could bring up quite a shakeup because the lily tends to affect your life in a bigger way. And so you could be bringing into focus your direction, and you could be rethinking quite a few things. Usually this isn't so easy, but it's usually vital for the rest of your life, for the rest of your year, and you could come out with a lot of great insights. Now, when we tie the two lines with the middle column, we see this challenge here with the people, this heartbreak, and then it ties into the middle column, which then ties into the bottom row. So in this context, so if we take like the relationship as a guidance, or like how how we interpret this whole T-cross connections, you could be going through a change of heart, and you could be going through this challenge with these people, and it's going to redirect your connections. It's going to redirect your focus, which is what we suggested you do with the bottom row. So again, not the easiest of cards, but certainly a potential for a big change. And I think that you don't want to postpone this. It might be imposed on you to some extent as well. Now, the Scythe book and Rider, we touched on this a little bit. This is great for opening up, for breakthroughs, for things coming out into the surface and moving forward. So this is definitely a clearing of the air, which is very, very welcome. And it must happen at this point in this year. And it's going to come down to confronting the situation first and foremost within yourself. So being honest about how you feel and being getting that clarity, getting to the bottom of your feelings, of your thoughts about this, and then that's going to pour out into the world around you, into your life, manifest, and you're going to be able to act on it. So this could be quite critical. This could be a big turning point for you this year. Now, the cards seem to affect different people, places. It's going to be flexible, really, if this is work related or relation to your friends, a group of people, other involvements in your life, or maybe just your life in general, where you're rethinking people, places, maybe even commitments, and you need to break out of a certain mindset and the situation that mirrors that mindset. So it could be quite a lot of work. A big deal. And that is, I think, in my opinion, it's always lovely because with this, there are deep lessons that come and usually liberation and growth. So hopefully you're also focused on your inner journey. So let's move on to portrait number 2, layer 2. For this one, we've got the Tarot Lenormand. It's a very pretty deck. It sticks a little bit. Sometimes I have a hard time dealing out the cards. Let's deal out layer number 2. Beautiful card. Okay, so we've got the man in the middle, clearly highlighting a relationship, and it goes with the dog, the garden. Yeah, there's a focus on people. And there is a scythe again, which is another indication of a separation, but we have 2 very, very bright cards, the star and sun, along with the tree, which is also really positive. And to be honest, I felt that at some point there was going to be these bright cards that come in, because usually when we have dynamics like the scythe and release and change and letting go, usually on the other side of this, there is at least to some extent some relief, and the star and sun are very, very bright. They're beyond relief. They bring a lot of success. So the scythe with the man and tree, this can go in a couple of ways. It can mean that you meet someone, or that there's an opportunity to meet this person and the relationship grows and evolves. Or it can mean that this is the same person that you were letting go of in the previous layer. The thing about the scythe is that you need to be decisive, and you need to decide who you're going to invest yourself in and not. The ship with the man and mountain, this can be quite exciting. Both the ship and mountain are travel cards. And so you could be going places and meeting this person, or going places with this person. This is quite exciting. So, growing out of your current state, getting out of your current circle is going to pay off. The mountain is sometimes a card of obstacles, but even if it is an obstacle, my feeling is it isn't. But even if it is an obstacle, you're going to overcome this. If anything, it's just going to slow things down a little bit. Once you meet this person or have an opportunity to connect with them, the relationship sort of unfolds and it grows. Maybe it's a bit slower than you'd like, but it's certainly exciting because we have lots of bright cards here. Here's another one. We've got the scythe with the stars and mountain, and this is a breakthrough, and it sounds like you could have an opportunity that you didn't anticipate, either an opportunity to travel or to expand or connect with this person, whether it's in person in that location or maybe online possibly, because the mountain is a card that I take to refer to the online world sometimes. So there's definitely a breakthrough here, and you could be on your way to bigger and more interesting things. Here's another very beautiful line. We've got the book, man and sun, and this is a lovely combination for meeting someone. The book is often a card of the unknown, and so when we see it in this order especially, you could get to know someone. And the sun is a very, very beautiful card. It's one of the brightest of the deck, and it clearly brings a sense of healing and happiness and fulfillment. So you could be really surprised at how exciting this relationship turns out to be. Now, the ship with the mouse and tree, this is where I suspected things are not going as fast or not evolving as much as you'd like. The ship and tree are lovely. They point to growth. They point to expansion. There's a sense of well-being and freedom and a sense of ease as well. But the mouse tends to bring up issues. Now, it's not a dramatic card. It's not like the whip. It tends to bring up smaller issues, little bumps here and there. And so it can be a bit slower, this relationship unfolding. And there can also be some obstacles in the way, like little logistical issues, I feel. So if you're traveling, for example, going places like we saw in the second diagonal, there could be some travel mishaps and things like that. There could be other issues that slow things down or, that are sort of in parallel with all of this. But really, the tree invites you to just chill, slow down, and things will fall into place. It's also a good idea not to try to rush things. I think this comes in contrast with your energy. So the scythe is very energetic, and we saw from layer 1 that you are just breaking out of these limitations of your circumstance or whatever stuck situation we were talking about. And so you come with a lot of energy, but then this relationship, it's sort of taking its own pace. It's a bit slower. So you need to adjust a little bit to that and sort of, take it easy. Now, the scythe book and ship is another very beautiful message here because of the scythe and book. This breaks open this thing that was unknown, and it moves forward into the ship. I could have suggested that it stays closed, but really with the scythe, it's a strong action. It's going to crack open the book. And then with the ship, there's, that sense of freedom and moving forward and going places. So there is an opportunity that is probably going to come up for you unexpectedly, I would say, in the year. And it's going to be pretty exciting. It's going to get you excited, and maybe, you want to take advantage of it and move ahead with it quickly. But it is, like we said, it's going to have its own pace sort of thing. So just relax and enjoy it. Now, the star with the man and mouse, so I think this speaks very clearly to what we're saying. The star and man, just like the sun and man, is a very beautiful relationship, very exciting. But again, with the mouse, there are some issues that come up. So these are probably going to slow you down a little bit, and you might just take a step back. So you might have jumped the gun a little bit at first because of your scythe, but the relationship and the circumstance is gonna, slow this down a little bit, which is fine. It's not a deal breaker in any way. We've got lots of cards that are supportive of this. So the mountain, sun, and tree, this is lovely. It's great for a vacation. It's great for taking time out, going to maybe a place in the mountains or where there's greenery and just chilling, because these are lovely healing cards, and the mountain is often a card of travel, and we have other cards that might support that. Now, if it's an obstacle, which it is also a lot of the time a representation of a blockage, the sun and tree are very beautiful, and they are a clear confirmation that, just slow down and accept the different pace, and you'll find that things evolve and develop in a very positive way. These are great cards for just about any context. There is that slower thing that comes in the way that might be a bit frustrating to you, but everything else is very lovely. And also, who this man is flexible. So it could be something love related. It could be a friend. It could be someone else who is connected with your work situation. So it depends on the context, but the dynamic with this person is great. So when it comes to personal relationships, things could evolve. There could be some bumps, but that's fine. If it comes to work, you could get an opportunity, for example, or an offer or a collaboration. It could be a customer if you're in business for yourself. And we could be looking at other people like family, where you could be reconnecting with them, healing past issues, if it's not a wholly new relationship, and lovely steps forward, really. Okay, let's move on to portrait number 3. This is layer number 3. This is the blink of an eye. And let's see what we get on top of these. Wow. This portrait gathers a lot of the stronger cards. The bear is strong, the anchor is strong, the scythe is strong, and the coffin is that heavy card. And we have the man and rider again. This is a lovely portrait for a confirmation of what we saw previously. I feel that it's really capturing the main takeaway and outcome of your year, because we have all of these cards recurring together. So we've got the man and ring. This is focusing on a relationship again. We're seeing the scythe and coffin. These are endings again. So these themes should be pretty clear. I think they're pretty sealed, baked into the year. And so they're going to take center stage for you. Now, the anchor is your cover card. The anchor is a card of strength and power, and so is the bear. And you are going to be in a strong situation. And I'm just thinking of your layer 1. And we had that clouds in the middle, and you're definitely going to come through past that. You're going to find your strength after this time of stuckness, or this space where you felt maybe you don't have enough breathing room, and you want to grow. You're gonna break out of that, and then you're going to find yourself in a very strong situation. That is beautiful. Now, the stork and ring is exciting. The stork is really nice in terms of changes and freedom. It's great for being active, for being proactive. So it's definitely going to help you break out. And with the ring, it's going to engage you in relationships, probably focused on people, but also other sorts of connections, like your commitments and the things that you're going to be doing on a more routine basis, which again reflects your commitments. So this is going to be exciting. A relationship kicks off. You're going to meet someone, or you're going to move forward with people. There's exciting things happening with others, or maybe one specific person. Another thing, though, that comes through this first diagonal, and that's really exciting, is that you are going to get unstuck. So yes, the anchor is that confident card, where you have a solid center, you know yourself, but at the same time, the anchor can be a card that holds you down because it is an anchor. But with the stork and ring, you're going to find freedom. You're going to be able to unstuck yourself, which is really also what we saw earlier. So very exciting cards to move ahead, to make changes, and to engage. Very, very empowering. The man, stork, and bear. This is another focus on a relationship. So we have the man twice. And clearly with the stork and bear, there are big steps, important developments that materialize with this person. So it's clear that there's a focus on a person this year. It could be romantic, it could be someone else, like we said in layer 2, but there's definitely some big steps that you are taking with this person. And even though the stork and bear are more on the neutral side, I feel this is quite exciting because there is a contrast between these very exciting active cards and layer 1, where we saw that stuckness and stuck in certain relationships. So here there's like a total break free, and it's great for your relationships as well. It's also possible, even likely, that you get the support of someone. Someone comes through to support you. They've got your back. You can rely on them, and you can do the same for them as well. So it's looking like a really good relationship, and a strong one as well. And very well supported by the top row. So we've got the anchor and bear together. These are 2 power cards. They have a lot in common. They're strong, even stubborn, and very hard to mess with. But in relationships, like with the heart, which is not so much relationships strictly, obviously it is because of the other cards, but it is a card of feeling. So by extension, it tends to support that. Great for a relationship, lots of trust, lots of security, and a strong, faith in the relationship. These are also great cards for being confident and knowing where you stand and having faith in yourself. So very different from how we started out with layer 1. These are very beautiful cards. Also great cards for promotions, empowerment, stepping up, growth, you know, even with the stork and bear and the tree in layer 2 could also be part of that. When we finish layer 1, we'll go through the triplets, which is always fun to do. So a really nice sense of strength and fulfillment and really having confidence in yourself. Now here's a line for change. It doesn't get clearer than that in Lenormand. Here's the scythe, which is a card of cutting off and severance. The stork, which is a card of change. And here's your rider just forging ahead and moving ahead. And so clearly you're going to be very active. You're going to release yourself from any restrictions. And then poof, we have this huge momentum. And you have all of this enthusiasm and strength and power and momentum to move forward. So it's really, really nice to see these cards, especially in contrast to the layer 1, which is how we started out. Now here's a big one. The man, coffin, and ring. This could point to the end of a relationship. So if this is the same man or not, and probably not, probably this is tying into the first layer where we saw, it was this one, right? Yeah, the top row where we saw the scythe, and also the scythe is in other lines, obviously. But we had a strong message of a break off and the need to move past certain relationships. So we see this confirmation here as well. And in this layer, I think it's about building the confidence to end connections, to release yourself from certain restrictions and move on to the ones that you want. So it's going to take some guts. And I think this year is you building up to that and also having your plan, your vision for yourself, but mostly that strength of heart and that confidence in yourself. So you could be ending a relationship, a connection, a commitment, a job, or whoever this man represents to you. And this column here on the left, the anchor, scythe, and man, is just another confirmation of that. The scythe is a card of severance. And when we see it with the anchor, it is definitely about breaking out of the shackles, like really releasing yourself from these restrictions. And it comes with the man, which is here with the ending, and the scythe T crosses with the middle row, which is big change and moving forward. So it's all coming together really tightly. The heart with the stork and coffin is about bringing something to a head and letting go and moving on. And then the bear with the rider and ring is that other relationship or confirmation of commitment. So a very clear theme that's happening for you, that you are revisiting relationships. You're going to drop some, recommit to some. You could meet someone. There's a change in your relationships. And it's really about bringing yourself up to the point where you can let go and make the changes that you want to. So initially we see that you're stuck and you're not sure how to, maybe you're not even sure what you want at first, but then as the year unfolds, things are going to become much, much clearer, and you're going to have that energy and power to just, you know what, this is going to happen. These changes are going to happen. I'm getting out. I'm making changes. I'm meeting other people. I'm saying goodbye. I'm saying hello, and all of that. So very, very strong cards. And I have to say, we always tend to see changes when there's that many cards for starters and then for such a reading. But I have to say that your reading, compared with the other two that I've read, these are the strongest messages of a change. So it could go really deep, and we could be looking at radical changes in your life. Do with that as you like. You know your situation best, but I cannot not read the cards. And it's very clear to me that there is a strong message of encouragement to just get it together, find yourself, and act on this. Okay, make the changes. This could be a turning point year. By the way, 2026 is year 1. And one is the beginning of a cycle. So this could also be playing out in the same way that, astrology plays out on the cards as well. Beautiful, beautiful. Let's get into the triplets now. We have quite a few recurring cards. So the scythe we see 3 times. 3 times. So it's a clear sign. Here, layer 3, layer 2, and layer 1. So in the first triplet, we have the dog, scythe, and anchor. And this is clearly about getting yourself out of relationships or situations and people that tie you down. This is your mission this year. I think it's pretty clear, right? So, take notes and remind yourself, this is the year when you are going to break free from restrictions so that you can move forward with momentum. And people seem to be a big part of these restrictions, or, they contribute to the whole situation. Triplet number 2 is the heart twice with the star. Oh, this is just great. This is just great. So, this is a healing of the heart, beautiful feelings, fulfillment in every way, great for love, great for relationships, great for happiness. What a beautiful triplet. What a beautiful triplet. I want you to bookmark this triplet. In the face of the challenges, when you're in the thick of it, okay, remember what is on the other side of this. Remember what is looking to come out. This is just gorgeous. I love this. Triplet number 3. The scythe with the mountain and bear. Wow. So yeah, it's going to be one of those. Another one of those power and force. Lots of force here. I'm just looking to see. Yeah, there's a few others, but these are a bit like the anchor, but 2 of them together, 2 of the same type of energy. You're going to need a lot of strength to get out of this, to make the changes, and to break through the obstacles. But on the other side of this, I really think you could be a different person. I think you could be someone who's a lot stronger. And my feeling is that you might even surprise yourself. But you've got to climb that mountain. You've got to break through the obstacles. And, it's going to take some energy. And actually, a lot of the cards have that outward, aggressive, strong, forceful, heavy, tough energy in a lot of the combinations. And it could feel like a heavy year, but you're taking these big steps. And again, bookmark triplet number 2, because on the other side of this, there's going to be some pretty amazing things. Now, another thing about this triplet is that the mountain and bear often suggests having a base in a different place. So maybe you could be moving. And with the scythe, which is all of those radical changes, which we see 3 times, you could be moving. You could be moving and changing your whole space and environment and going in a different place. So it could be physical like that. But if not, there's still big changes all around, really. Triplet number 4. Here's another one with the whip and scythe, not an easy combination. In fact, you could argue that this is the most challenging pair in Lenormand. And we see it with the book. So the book is a card of the unknown. Normally, it points to mysteries and question marks and not having the information, or maybe being stuck a bit like that, clouds. Not knowing. So the whip and scythe is very much about knowing. So you're going to have to break through, and you're going to have to find answers. You need to seek solutions, and you need to get out of this space of not knowing and being stuck. And the whip and scythe are quite aggressive, so you're definitely going to find a way. Another thing about this triplet is that it can represent bad news, but I don't think you get the bad news. I think you deliver it, to be honest. So you're going to draw some sharp lines this year. You're going to get out of different things. You're going to announce that you're saying bye-bye. And this could come across as not easy to the folks around you. And it could also imply a lot of changes, like in different areas. And so you're gonna need some effort to cut off all of these things so that you're totally liberated and free to move forward. So again, we're seeing work. We're seeing work this year. It's gonna feel like a lot, but you're dealing with a lot, and you're gonna come out with a lot. So Here's the clouds with the man and stork. This is a bit of a lighter combination. I say lighter really compared to all of this around here. So the clouds is that stuckness that we initially saw right in the middle. But the man and stork is great for moving past this stuckness in the relationship. So it's pretty clear that relationship limitations or situations that are, not great, not so transparent, not so clear, not so light, these are going to be resolved, and there's going to be that freedom, that release and relief that comes through. So if this specific relationship here is difficult or it's going to be a good one, the key is to overcome that hesitation, that space of not knowing, that space of stuckness, and really moving forward. So it's really supportive. Focus on people, on certain people. You know who they are. Triplet number 6. Here's another good one. So we've got the book twice. All right, book twice, layer 2 and layer 1. And this is lovely because the Sun and Rider is wonderful news. And it is a great combination for clarity and understanding. So we see this, how it plays out, right? You're going to need to break out of this space of not knowing, space of being stuck, and you're going to find answers, and you're going to be liberated, and you're just going to flow. This is awesome. This could also be an offer with the book and rider, a really nice offer, a really nice invitation. And we saw that there's some really good commitments and good relationships that come out on the other side of the changes that you're gonna do. Really nice cards here, and also great for pursuing your goals. So go ahead and stop being stuck. No more being stuck. Triplet number 7. The guardianship and man. Here's people, meeting people, and probably similar to this, but here it's a lot more focused on people. So we have the guardian and man, which is a meeting with this person, and the ship is about visiting, going places. And so you're going to meet people. It's either one specific person or some people, and you're going to have options and alternatives. So just get past this where you are right now. These are also great cards for work or for your projects and other activities. The ship is active, it's adventurous, and it's open to, to whatever the sea brings. So really nice cards here. So go out and meet people. Go out and be with them. Open your options, open your horizons. Okay, triplet number 7. A bit on the tougher side, this one, but we see here a very important message, even though the cards are not loud like the scythe and whip and the bear and the stork. They're not outward like that, but they are telling us something very important. And this is the end of a chapter. So the lily and coffin, that's actually the combination of the last week. I think if you take note of my card combination posts, the coffin and lily is on there as our last combination of the year to wrap up the year. And so together they clearly point to the ending of a chapter and of a longer phase, because the lily is a card of life as a whole. So it tends to cover a longer period of time. And so with the coffin, it's very clear that you are ending a big phase. Now, the thing about the mouse is that it's a little bit negative, and it usually points to something that is tapering off. So it has that draining kind of energy as opposed to a cutoff energy. And you have to let go and, move away from this chapter and turn the page into a new one. It's finishing up. It's wrapping up. So really important message here. And this triplet here could focus your attention on the fact that all of the stuff happening here is part of the bigger plan of your life, and it's it's part of a bigger chapter, and you're about to close an important chapter and move into one. So it could be a significant milestone. So I want you to remember this and this as you are in the thick of the changes, because you need your vision of your life, of your dreams, to pull you through. It's a big deal. If you ask me, this is a big deal. Now, last triplet, and here's another rider. We have it twice with the tree and ring. This is great for a relationship. The tree and ring is definitely about growth and a deepening connection. And the rider, you know, it's that progress and moving forward. So really nice. It's really nice to see this triplet at the bottom here, because this position, this part of it is like a gathering space for all of it. So you're going to find yourself within the year in this space of growth and well-being. You're going to find your roots again. You're going to find yourself in a strong foundation, and it's like you're going to start again. This is a year for purging, and I mean big time. You know, like there is a lot to uproot. There's a lot to release yourself from, and it could take quite a lot of effort. I'm suspecting that it could exhaust you to some extent, just because, we know how these things go. And there's a lot of emotion, and there's a lot of brightness, and a lot of change. It's a lot. It's a lot. But it's also unleashing a lot, so that's why it's going deep, and it's going to release you into big stuff. So it's up to you. I always encourage people to do the work, not to fear to get in there and purge it all out. Let's bring this to a close. Thank you so much for spending the time. I'm really looking forward to your feedback. Leave me your comments, take a screenshot, take notes, and come back and update me, and we'll keep in touch throughout the year. Again, watch your astro clocks. There's a lot of tools you can use to really align your year and to, be in the driver's seat. That's really my desire. Be in the driver's seat. Thank you for watching. Take very good care of yourself. Best of luck with 2026. And until next time, take very good care of yourself.